I'm Larry Fonseca. My parents are immigrants, but I was born here. I'm 25 years old, and I'm an only child. I grew up in a nice house. I had everything I wanted, and material comforts galore. I had a nice room with all my favorite things. I watched a lot of TV, mainly to get away from my parents, who were always fighting. When I would hear them yell, I'd close the door and turn on the TV. Then I'd play my favorite video games, or watch action movies.
Exactamente, eso es lo que yo quiero saber. ¿Qué haces tú en la calle todo el día?
Buscando el dinero para mantener esta casa.
Por favor, Tony, no me hagas reír.
Okay. It's funny, so funny. Always my fault.
Mi amor. Be good.
Hey, here's your lunch money. All right. Directly home from school. All right. No fooling around. Bye-bye.
My parents were hardly ever at home. They were always working because they said they had to pay off a lot of stuff. They were out of the house in the morning and came back late at night. I was always alone at home and could do whatever I wanted. I discovered the place where my dad hid his porno movies. I always watched one when I got home from school. I'd order something in by phone, and then I'd play hours of video games. That's where I learned about all kinds of different weapons. I learned how to tell the difference between a submachine gun and a 9mm pistol. I learned about what a grenade does and what a Molotov cocktail does. I also learned that my heroes were the strongest because they knew how to use those weapons. Nothing ever happened to them, and they beat everyone. My mom, she sells houses. On Saturdays and Sundays, she'd go to open houses. My dad sells cars. He also worked on the weekends. When they'd go to work on the weekends, they'd just leave me at the arcade and pick me up in the afternoon. I read a lot about firearms on the internet. But I've only seen one pistol in my life. It was a .38 caliber that my dad kept in the attic at home. When I held it in my hands, I felt just like the heroes in my videos. I felt better than everyone else. The problem is, I was always a clumsy person. That's the reason I didn't like sports. When I had to play sports at school, the other kids made fun of me. Also, when I made a mistake, my parents were pretty hard on me. I ended up withdrawing and isolating myself from other people. I didn't talk to anyone at school. The only contact I had with people was through a chat room on the internet. I met a lot of people from around the world. My parents, their fights got worse and worse, more and more violent. One day, after fighting with my mom, my dad left home. 1 year later, they got a divorce. My dad went back to his country in Latin America. After their divorce, my mom started drinking and smoking. She was drinking all the time. She became aggressive, even towards me. She was crying, full of bitterness. She stopped taking care of herself. She got ugly. She didn't go back to work. She finally tried to commit suicide. Miraculously, they'd saved her life, and she was in a hospital for months. That's when the authorities called my grandparents, who came from northern Florida. They made me pack my bags. Then they took me away. My grandparents, they live on a beautiful farm near Jacksonville. That was a great experience for me. I'll never forget those 2 months that I spent with them. It was a happy time. They didn't have TV. I even forgot about weapons and videos for a while. Everything was different over there. I helped Grandpa with his country chores. Then my mom got out of the hospital. My grandparents brought me home. I went back to school. My mom was always distant. We never heard from my dad. I went back to my room to watch TV and play video games. My grades at school got worse and worse, and I couldn't stand the other kids teasing. The whole change in atmosphere affected my mood. I became irritable. I felt lonelier than ever. I didn't have friends. I couldn't count on anyone. One day, the math teacher called me to the blackboard to work on a problem that was really hard. I didn't understand it, and I didn't know how to solve it. Everyone laughed at me, and the professor was hard on me. I felt humiliated, angry. I was really furious. I started getting thoughts. I hated everyone. I wanted to destroy everyone, and I felt like killing. I remembered the pistol that my dad left in the attic. That was what I needed. I kept the bag with the bullets in a pouch because, as Agent Cobra says, always carry more ammunition than you need for combat. I also put on rubber gloves so as not to leave any fingerprints. That day, I went to school by bike so that no one on the school bus would see me and no one would touch my bag. Getting weapons into school was easy. There was never anyone who checked. I'd tried it before. The trigger on the pistol was hard to pull with your finger, so the best thing was to cock it, and then it'd be easier and faster to shoot. I didn't have time to waste. Math class was starting at 9 a.m. When I went into the room, everyone was there, and the professor looked bitter, and he was waiting for me. The final moment had arrived. It was the time to become a hero and get my revenge. I couldn't fail. As I had read many times, I had to hold the weapon steady with both hands, extend my arms, aim at stomach level, because when I shoot, the gun rises, and the bullet hits the chest. I hid for a long time. Then I started to get scared. Felt like running home, just getting into bed to watch TV. But it's late now. It's 6 a.m. and my execution is scheduled to begin in 1 hour.